Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. The European Parliament has passed a resolution stating that the recent judgment of the Polish Constitutional Tribunal undermines European Union law and threatens the independence of judges. MEPs call on the Commission not to approve the National Reconstruction Fund until the government implements the decisions of the European Court of Justice regarding the Polish judiciary. Even before the vote, Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki stressed that European institutions had assumed the right to decide on matters not included in the treaties. We did not agree to this, and therefore the Polish government and the Polish Parliament will not act under pressure of blackmail in any of these matters. According to the authors of the resolution, the decision of the Constitutional Tribunal is an attack on the European community of values and laws. The document concerning the alleged violation of the law by Poland was signed by several Polish MEPs from the opposition: Marek Belka, Robert Biedron, Leszek Miller, Włodzimierz Cimoszewicz and Sylwia Spurek. This is a judgment that adds nothing. This is a political theatre commissioned by the Prime Minister, who agreed to everything early at the summit in Brussels and then asked the Constitutional Tribunal for a ruling. I cannot understand why Prime Minister Morawiecki, in the name of ad hoc internal political games with Minister Ziobro, risks the future of the country. The President of the Confederation, Krzysztof Bosak, believes that for Poland the National Reconstruction Fund means dependence on politicians of the European Parliament who are hostile to Poland. We do not need the ill will of the Eurocrats who will dictate their terms to us. I believe that the Prime Minister has unnecessarily manoeuvred us into this fund and is not necessarily struggling with all these Eurocrats at the moment. It is an attempt at the kind of financial blackmail that is being used at the moment, and it is a study of whether Poland has succumbed to this kind of pressure or not. Rafał Ziemkiewicz is of a similar opinion, stating that the European Union is using the National Reconstruction Fund as a disciplinary measure against Poland. According to the journalist, the European Union is a serious breach of Polish sovereignty. Since we have become the first target of the Eurocrats, we have no choice but to clearly say no, and be prepared that we may have to escape from this collapsing structure. However, members of all parties agree that a dialogue is needed between Warsaw and Brussels. During the two-day summit in Brussels, Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki spoke, inter alia, about soaring energy prices and the problem of illegal migration. French right-wing commentator Eric Zemmour drew sharp criticism on Wednesday after attending an arms fair and pointing an unloaded sniper rifle at journalists, as he laughed and told them to step back. The French junior interior minister, Marlène Schiappa, had called the incident horrifying, but Zemmour insisted it was simply a joke, adding that anyone not able to tell that it was a joke was an idiot. Political outsider Zemmour, who was looking at the weapon at an arms fair outside the capital, Paris, is expected to run in next year's presidential election race. Move away, step back, step back, step back, step back, Zemmour said to reporters while looking at them through the weapon's scope before laughing and putting the rifle down. Who writes articles in Le Point magazine to insult me? Who insults me for being Bonaparte, for being a clown and so on? Who, as Mrs. Schiappa says, is aiming at journalists with rifles to kill them? If you don't know the difference between humour, a joke and being serious, then you're an idiot. A polarising figure who has made a television and writing career testing the boundaries of political correctness, Zemmour accuses the political class of allowing a steady erosion of traditional Christian values and national identity in France. Born in Paris to Jewish Algerians who emigrated to metropolitan France in the 1950s, Zemmour points to himself as an example of how France once successfully assimilated its migrant population. Now, he says, waves of immigrants have been allowed to loathe France and push back against its core values. His uncompromising rhetoric, he has twice been convicted of inciting hate, resonates with some voters and repels others. Zemmour, 63, has not yet officially declared his candidacy for the 2022 race, but is behaving every bit the candidate. Polls show him challenging for a place in the second round runoff, poaching votes from both Marine Le Pen's far-right Rassemblement National Party and the more conservative fringe of right-wing Les Républicains Party. South Korea's first domestically built space rocket blasted off on Thursday in a test launch that represents a major leap for the country's ambitious space plans. Space launches have long been a sensitive issue on the Korean peninsula, where North Korea faces sanctions over its nuclear-armed ballistic missile program. The three-stage KSLV-2 Nuri rocket, emblazoned with the national flag, carried a dummy satellite on its launch from the Nairo Space Center at 5 p.m. Video provided by the Korea Aerospace Research Institute showed the Nuri, or World Rocket, is designed to put a 1.5-ton payload into orbit 600 kilometers to 800 kilometers above the Earth, as part of a broader space effort that envisages the launch of satellites for surveillance, navigation and communications, and even lunar probes. Last night we met the winners of the 18th International Frédéric Chopin Piano Competition. The first prize and €40,000 went to Bruce Liu from Canada. According to critics and reviewers, there has never been such a high level of participants in the entire history of the competition. 12 participants, including 2 Poles, competed in the finals of the 18th International Chopin Competition. The jury, chaired by Professor Katarzyna Popova-Zhidron, issued its decision after the final. The winner performed the piano concerto in E minor. It is a great feeling to stand here. It was a great adventure with these wonderful people to play at the National Philharmonic in Warsaw. Of course, my family and my friends are happy, and I really have no words. It is a great experience and a great joy to be able to participate in this wonderful, extremely prestigious event, which is the Chopin competition.
To jest pianista właściwie, który grał w innej galaktyce, można powiedzieć.
This is a pianist who played in a different galaxy, really. He's quite possibly the greatest figure in the competition since 1965, since Matra Acheric. So it's a great thing that he will become an ambassador of the competition, because the competition, which has been, one could say, will now have a fantastic vehicle. The jury chose 8 winners. In equal second place were Alexander Gadjev, representing Italy and Slovenia, and Kyohei Sorita from Japan. The winner from Japan is studying at the Frédéric Chopin University in Warsaw. According to the university authorities, it is one of the university's greatest successes since 1970. We can count on this competition as extraordinary because its cancellation last year due to Corona made everyone very keen to see it this year. I have to say that it was a marvellous sensation. Just the number of people in the audience, those who filled the floor from the early morning hours, from the very first stages of the competition. The 4th place in the competition and the prestigious Polish Radio Award for the best performance of the mazurkas was won by our 25-year-old compatriot Jakub Kusilik from the Academy of Music in Bydgoszcz. It's lovely that the jury decided to distinguish this pianist, who also played with great subtlety and magical sound, but also that they decided to appreciate his interpretation of the mazurkas. The International Chopin competition was inaugurated in 1927 by the Polish pianist Jerzy Żurawlew. It is one of the oldest and most prestigious piano competitions and is held in Warsaw every 5 years. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.